The following program has been brought to you in part by Sennheiser and the Airline Pilots Association.
The FAA puts more eyes on the skies. European airlines want a bigger slice of the American pie. Canada dissolves its parliament. Plus, we'll tell you where you can see the space shuttles on display. These stories and more coming up on this edition of The Flight Deck. Hello, I'm Sharon Varab. Welcome to The Flight Deck. In response to recent incidents, FAA Administrator Randy Babbitt will place an additional air traffic controller on the midnight shift at 27 control towers around the country. As part of a call to action program, Babbitt will also team up with NACA President Paul Rinaldi for visits to air traffic facilities around the country in April. The FAA is currently conducting a review of the air traffic control system to look at issues of staffing and scheduling. As a result, the FAA is investigating additional incidents involving unresponsive air traffic controllers. The pilots of FedEx Express signed a new agreement. The 2-year contract increases hourly pay rates, provides pensionable lump sum payments, and includes 3 vital safety programs, among other improvements. ALPA pilot leaders say it's an innovative approach to negotiations. It gets FedEx pilots the improvements in pay and benefits they deserve while fostering discussions between the union and management to resolve their issues prior to the contract's amendable date. According to Reuters, Europe is renewing its push for the United States to ease restrictions on foreign ownership of airlines. In a recent visit to Washington, European Commission Vice President Sim Kallas argued that access to a steady stream of capital remains a top industry concern. The news report indicated that he left the country with no assurance that the U.S. government would relax ownership limits anytime soon. NASA recently celebrated the 30th anniversary of the first space shuttle launched by announcing the retirement homes of the shuttle fleet. Enterprise, the first shuttle built, will move from the Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum Udvar Hazy Center in Virginia to the Intrepid Sea Air and Space Museum in New York. The Udvar Hazy Center will become the new home for Shuttle Discovery, which retired after completing its 39th mission in March. Shuttle Endeavour, which is preparing for its final flight at the end of April, will go to the California Science Center in Los Angeles. Atlantis, which will fly the last planned shuttle mission in June, will be displayed at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex in Florida. In Canada, the Governor General recently issued a proclamation dissolving Canada's 40th Parliament. Dissolution ends all business in the House of Commons and the Senate. All incomplete business is terminated, including House and private members' bills. That means several aviation-related bills have fallen off the order paper and will have to be reintroduced. Those include Bill C-481, which would have abolished the age of retirement for federal sector airline employees, and Bill C-541, which addressed passenger rights. Parliament did manage to rush through Bill C-42 before the election call. This new law permits airlines to share passenger information with foreign countries. The Canadian Aviation Regulation Advisory Council Working Group on Flight Time, Duty Time Rules will continue its work. The working group met the week of April 19th and will meet again in May. Canadians will head back to the polls on May 2nd to vote in a new parliament, which will return on May 20th. Pilots from around the world elected Captain Don Wyckoff president of the International Federation of Airline Pilots Associations at the 66th Annual Conference. Captain Don Wyckoff, a Delta pilot who has served as ALPA's deputy president since 2010, succeeds Captain Carlos Limon of Mexicana Airlines. Other ALPA pilots elected to offices at this year's conference include Captain Rod Lipchuk, a Jazz pilot who is the new Executive Vice President of Administration and Finance. Captain Mark Seal, who flies for United, was re-elected as Vice President of the North Atlantic region. Captain Ray Jelena, also of Jazz, was re-elected as Vice President of the Canadian Arctic region. Captain Bob Perkins, a jazz pilot, was re-elected ALPA Aerodrome and Ground Environment Committee Chairman. Finally, Captain Craig Hall, a jazz pilot, was elected Chairman of the Federation's Security Committee. ALPA represents more than 100,000 pilots in more than 100 countries around the world and serves as the global voice for airline pilots. AP reports indicate that jet engine maker Pratt & Whitney is sitting pretty with 3 significant orders: 300 next-gen engines from Indigo, a low-cost Indian carrier, 30 engines for Lufthansa, and 60 engines for Airbus planes. These orders, coupled with a decision from Congress that makes the company the sole manufacturer of the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter jet engine, has financial analysts nearly doubling Pratt & Whitney's projected revenue by the year 2020. Meet Dolan, the 500th puppy born into the TSA puppy program. Dolan, named after Captain Robert Edward Dolan, Jr., who lost his life in the attack on the Pentagon, was born at Lackland Air Force Base. If the puppy meets the agency's standards, the TSA will train Dolan to become an explosive detection dog. The program, which has been in place for 9 years, selectively breeds and prepares puppies like Dolan to help protect airports and mass transit systems throughout the country. The puppies are named in honor of those who lost their lives on September 11th or those who are fighting for our freedom overseas. The TSA relies on the help of volunteers to keep this program going. The following video will tell you how you can help.
Hi, I'm a puppy, and I need your help. See, the Transportation Security Administration raises little puppies like me to work as explosive detection dogs. But until I'm big enough to start school here in San Antonio, I need foster parents, like you. All you have to do is take me home for about 9 months. You can play with me, and we can go for walks and all kinds of stuff. The kennel staff at Lackland Air Force Base supplies all my food and medical care. And they're available 24 hours a day for emergencies and to answer your questions. I even come with a puppy raising guidebook. Please contact the TSA Canine Breeding and Development Center Puppy Foster Program at Lackland Air Force Base, 210-671-1624. The nice people there will give you all the details.
Flight and duty regulations are set to change in the United States this year. After the break, we'll get a report on what's happening with these rules around the world.
From the first time I boarded a commercial plane as its pilot, I've embraced the responsibility I have to the safety of my passengers and crew. And I have the best flight gear, even the headset certified for commercial duty. It lets me concentrate on the task at hand, making this the safest flight my passengers will ever have.
The feature-packed HMEC 26 provides long-wearing comfort and more than 18 dB of noise reduction. Try the HMEC 26 on your next flight and hear the difference for yourself.
Hi, I'm Maddie from Gaither Room. How do planes take off?
Maddie, that's an excellent question. The airplane's wings need air flowing over them in order to generate the lift that lifts the airplane into the air and keeps it there. What we do on the runway is we use the engines to gain enough speed so that there's enough air flowing over the wings to generate that lift. You can think of it this way. If you're in the car, stopped at a red light, ask your parents' permission first, and you stick your hand out the window, you don't feel any air. When the light turns green, you feel more air on your hand, and the faster you go, the more air you feel, and you can feel your hand kind of going up a little bit. It's the same concept in the airplane with the airplane's wings.
Pilots in Europe are making changes to their flight and duty regulations. Here's a closer look.
Pictures from a surveillance camera. The frequent cause of accidents like this, fatigued drivers experiencing involuntary microsleep. For trucks and buses, the rule is 4.5 hours driving, 45 minutes rest, 4.5 hours driving. After 9 hours, the day is over. European aviation is entirely different. On short and medium-haul flights, 13 hours duty time is legal. Twice a week, this can be extended up to 14 hours. This can even be further extended up to 15 hours with captain's discretion. Experts criticize that longer working hours for pilots lead to a sleep deficit. This is verified by an Air Berlin captain who wants to remain anonymous. He says, "We have sleep deficit the entire summer period. Frequently the rest periods are too short or they don't match our normal sleep rhythm. So I'm in a sleep deficit the whole summer." This can have dramatic consequences. Accident investigation reports often show that fatigue is a major factor. For example, Guam, 1997, 228 fatalities. Little Rock, United States, 1999, 11 dead, 110 injuries. Zurich, 2001, 24 dead, 9 injuries. Buffalo, United States, 2009, 51 fatalities, and recently, Mangalore, India, summer 2010, 158 people perished. A study conducted by the US Federal Aviation Administration showed that pilots who were on duty for more than 12 hours were more likely to be involved in an accident. Remember, currently in Europe, 15 hours is legal. America has taken action. Tighter flight duty regulations will come into force in August. Europe has also taken action, but completely different. EASA is planning a daytime duty limit of 16 hours, but the experts caution the maximum should be 13 hours. The EU currently allows 11 hours 45 minutes at nighttime. According to the study, 10 hours should not be exceeded. But EASA is increasing this even more to 12 hours. Up to now, there has been no limit in the United States of America. Now duty at night will be limited to just 9 hours. Can European pilots perform better than their US colleagues at night? Apparently yes, as EASA even intends to allow a reduced rest time of just 7.5 hours twice a week. If these rules are implemented in the way they are currently being proposed, we fear a big backward step for flight safety. It has been scientifically established what humans are capable of, and these rules contradict all of it. If the planned limitations are put into force, it will cause fatigue, and that will lead to accidents. And at the end of such a long duty is the most demanding part for every pilot, a safe landing.
Airline pilots at Hawaiian are teaching the island's school children all about the piloting profession. Holding more than a dozen events since the start of the school year, pilot volunteers share their personal career experiences along with fun facts such as how much an airplane weighs. The pilot's local education committee also sent a How to Become an Airline Pilot guide to every private and public school in Hawaii, totaling 144 institutions. So far, they've reached out to more than 1,000 students, and they, in turn, are writing the pilots back. The thank you notes include snippets of the presentations that really stuck with the kids. For example, Josiah from Waipahu Intermediate School says, "I'm still interested in this career because I've always wanted to be a pilot. One day that will come true." If you'd like an airline pilot to make a presentation in your school, let us know. Send in your request at www.cleartodream.org. Or if you're an ALPA pilot who would like to volunteer in a school near you, contact us at education@alpa.org. Do you have a story for the Flight Deck? Please let us know. Email us at FlightDeck@alpa.org. We on the Flight Deck would like to congratulate Richard Ortiz of Munford, Tennessee, who was randomly selected from the correct entries of last month's Watch and Win contest. Richard will now be entered into the grand prize drawing along with 5 other winners. Now today's question is, what is the name of the TSA puppy? Visit our website at FlightDeck.alpa.org to submit the answer for a chance to win a Sennheiser headset valued at $850. Thank you for watching the Flight Deck. If you have any feedback about this episode, please let us know at FlightDeck@alpa.org. Thanks again, and I'll see you next month here on the Flight Deck.